These dog owners have no idea that they're about to get a visit from the police. Environmental officers are carrying out a new and previously unheard of task to make sure all these dogs have been DNA tested.
From January 15th, there's been a fine. Right now, we're just passing on the information. But next time, it'll be an actual fine.
Let's say Terrier Jackie deposited one of these on the ground. How can you know who it was? In parks and residential areas, there are untold numbers of unpleasant surprises like this. But not any longer. Owners who fail to scoop the poop will now face a €500 fine. And that's reasonable, say many Malaga residents.
I agree with it. The fines have to be a deterrent so the owners clean up the poo. The fines have to be really high.
DNA testing of dog poo to find the owners who are flouting the law. That's what the Malaga City Council decided a year and a half ago. Councillors are pleased that the project is now finally getting off the ground.
There's broad consensus on this course of action within local government.
The city gave the green light to the ambitious project, one that's never been implemented on such a large scale in Europe. But how do all the dogs get registered? Veterinarian Emilio takes blood samples and sends them off for testing. The dogs get a tag on their collar, so the police know that they've had their DNA samples collected.
In this way, you can register all the dogs in the city.
But the reality is a little different. For the authorities, the likelihood of catching anyone in the act is still quite low. Only around 20,000 dogs out of a population of 100,000 in Malaga have had their DNA registered. And it seems likely that it's the law-abiding owners, the ones who are more likely to clean up anyway, and not the miscreants who take their dogs in for testing. Most of the fecal samples that end up in the lab come from unregistered dogs. Rafael had his mixed-breed dog's DNA registered, but he says with the new regime in place, he's feeling the pressure.
€500 for a repeat offender seems reasonable. But for the first offense? What if you always do the right thing, but then it just happens that you forget to bring a plastic bag?
And what about dogs belonging to tourists? There'll be no fine for them and no tests. Still, the city sees itself as a trailblazer. So clean up after your dog or there'll be a high price to pay.